This is these wonderful events that we get to put on. My name is Dr. Anthony Chaston. I'm a professor in the Department of Psychology at Mount Royal University, and we are putting these events on in combination with educators in VR. Laurel Van Fossen from Educators in VR and I have worked together for years, hosting these events, and slowly they have grown and grown. And now one of the great things we get to do is host them here in Engage. Engage allows us to build what you see around you. The students get to build these beautiful environments. So thank you to Engage for allowing us to do this in their platform. We really, really appreciate it. I also want to thank the students for the work that they put in. So for those of you who may not be from the classes or from Mount Royal University, what we're going to see today is a presentation that's done by students from a 4,000 level university course. This course is on AI and VR and such as a psychology course. So how those things influence psychology and therapy and so forth. And so our students today are going to do a presentation for you, and I'm going to just start with a little disclaimer. And the disclaimer simply is that please remember that this presentation is done by students. These are undergraduate students who are practicing how to present and learning this content and sharing it with you. And I hope that you really enjoy it, and I hope that you learn from it. But please remember that this is not a training session, like in the sense of a clinical training session. This is just an enjoyment and information session. I think that's everything. With that, I will gladly turn it over to our presenters today. The floor is yours.
Thanks so much. Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about some sensitive topics. So we will include things such as crisis situations, helplines, and suicidal ideations. So while we won't be talking about them frequently, they still will be mentioned on occasion. So if there is any trigger or overwhelming feelings that arise and you need to step away, please feel free to decompress by exploring other stations we may not be presenting in at that time, or whatever works best for you, because our top priority is for everyone to feel safe in here. So I'll just ask that everyone uses like the heart emote or the 8 on your keyboard to show that you feel comfortable moving forward. Or if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Alrighty. So to begin, our project Safe Steps was actually inspired by my little brother, and he was gracious enough to give me permission to speak about him and his experience. So almost a year ago, he did attempt to take his own life, and sometime after, we had a conversation about what he thought could have possibly helped him in that moment, and the topic of suicide crisis helplines was brought up. So later, when I did join this class, I wondered if it would be possible to integrate VR and a hotline together. And so our amazing group decided to bring this idea to life by creating interactive mindfulness stations that we'll be showing you today. And we hope that in the future, they could be placed in a developed VR nature walk that is guided in real time by a trained human crisis worker.
Welcome to Safe Steps. Before we explain everything, we just want you to take a second, look around, and notice where you are. Notice the space, the distance, and the sounds, and also where it's quiet. Now imagine you didn't come here for this presentation. Imagine you came here because something feels wrong. You might be overwhelmed, your thoughts won't stop, or you feel stuck. Safe Steps is designed for that exact moment. Safe Steps is a virtual nature-based crisis support space. It combines self-guided mindfulness tools with crisis worker-supported intervention. But the key idea is this: before someone can talk through a crisis, their nervous system needs to calm down first. And everything here is built around that principle. There you go. But basically, yeah, during Dr. Shapiro's walks in nature that she took daily, she noticed that the rhythmic eye movement that she experienced from looking from tree to tree and stuff like that, it seemed to reduce the intensity of the distressing thoughts that she was working through on these walks. So while we want to be clear that we're obviously not conducting EMDR therapy right now in this space, throughout this presentation, we will be using the same underlying mechanism, that is guided attention and visual stimuli that serve to encourage eye movement and interrupt rumination to reduce the intensity of negative emotions. While this world utilizes EMDR principles, it is also just as effective for mindfulness practices. is when people are anxious or distressed, the brain often gets stuck in what's called the default mode network. And that's kind of that loop of replaying the past or worrying about the future, anything that sort of takes you away from the present. So this is supposed to be a grounding sort of experience. So mindfulness breaks that loop by pulling your attention into the present moment. And so that's what we designed this landscape to do. You may have noticed the 360-degree features, the immersive audio, and the uplifting lighting effects. All of these qualities were put in place to increase your sense of felt presence and place your mind in the present. It gives your brain something real to engage with instead of spiraling internally. I'm just going to take you guys over to our next zone, which is going to be our grounding area. And as you walk over, just think about the space. And if you noticed anything or you feel a certain way from being in here, just feel free to raise your hand or shout out anything you've noticed. And I'm going to pass the next station off to Camila when she's ready.
Perfect. So on this station, we are going to be talking about different grounding techniques in virtual reality, because grounding in VR acts as a bridge between the virtual world and your physical body. Even though VR can feel very immersive and calming, sometimes your brain gets confused because what you're seeing doesn't match what your body is feeling at the moment, right? So this can lead to things like dizziness or feeling disconnected, which is called cyber sickness. This is why grounding is so important. It helps maintain presence, which is the feeling of just being there in the virtual environment while still keeping you connected to your body. There are different techniques. First one, an example of this is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique in VR, like noticing sounds in the headset while also you're feeling feet on the ground. It helps connect your brain to both environments instead of treating them as separate. Grounding also reduces vection, which is the illusion that you're moving when you're actually still in just one place. By keeping your feet firm on the floor, your body has like a reference point, which helps prevent dizziness. Another important role is emotional safety. If a VR experience becomes overwhelming, grounding is a great option to give you the opportunity to come back to the present moment without doing the physical movement or taking your heads up suddenly. And overall, I think grounding helps your nervous system, also your body doesn't get overstimulated by the virtual environment. Breathing is also a key part of grounding, which leads to our next technique, which is box breathing. But before moving into that section, please take a walk into our fountain in here. And Sara is going to show us the way.
We can walk around here and see the water sound, and this is potentially where crisis workers will come into someone who is experiencing a crisis and do these grounding techniques. So feel free to walk around and we'll move you back on the path when you're ready.
Water sound. For our next section, we just have the box breathing pad. So this environment is designed to be used in a more structured manner than the previous section, and is especially useful in situations of intense acute anxiety or stress. Here we have a space out of 4-sided, where in each side takes 4 seconds to walk across. Before engaging with this pad yourself, please allow us to demonstrate, and Harry is going to be showing us.
Hey everyone, so if you want to come over to here, this is the start of our box breathing path, and we've spaced it out pretty much perfectly so that each side of the box takes about 4 seconds to walk through, which makes it really easy to practice this. So this is basically how it works. You start here and you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get to the next side and you hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold one last time, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can just repeat that loop until you're feeling a little bit better.
Perfect, Harris. Thanks for the demonstration. And yeah, many of you are likely already familiar with this technique. The idea is that a slow, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for calming you down and bringing you out of the flight or fight response.
So if anyone wants to try, give it a go there. Okay, perfect. So if everyone wants to just follow me down the path here. Alrighty. So this leads us to our next two stations. So here we have our body scan meditation. So one challenge with VR is that you can disconnect what you see from how your body feels. And because physical awareness is key to presence, we have included a body scan meditation section in order to help integrate this virtual environment with the sensations that you're actually feeling in your body. So we want to just take a second and in this space and follow along with this brief body scan. So sitting comfortably, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you exhale, gently close your eyes. Start at the top of your head and begin to scan all the way down through your body. Notice how each part feels. Relaxed or tense, light or heavy, comfortable or uncomfortable. You're not trying to change anything, just becoming aware. Continue down through your shoulders, arms, chest, stomach, hips, legs, and finally your feet. Let each breath support your attention. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to wherever you left off. And so that's just an example of a body scan that you could do at that station. And then here we have our watering station. So it's a bit of a shift from what we were doing prior. So now we're going to be engaging with our environment. So your breathing and your body are not going to be as much of the attention here. We're going to start turning that outward again. So you're invited to walk through this space and pick up a watering can and water the plants that you see around. There's no set path, timing, or specific instructions. You can move however you would like. It may seem simple, but it serves as an important purpose. So when someone's overwhelmed, they can be stuck in their own thoughts, replaying the same patterns over and over. So when an internal focus is not working in the moment, sometimes the best thing to do is take action and re-engage with something outside of ourselves. So this is small and tangible and manageable to do. You're making choices and taking small actions again. So feel free to walk around and water some of these plants here.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Finally. Dang, that took forever. Okay. I don't know if my group member already talked about it before, but in the watering station, it's more of like decentering yourself. So sometimes when we're like ruminating, we're not gonna stop rumination. That's hard to do. But what you can do is distract yourself from those negative thoughts. So if you're watering, that's a way of also distracting yourself and focusing in the moment.
Perfect. So true. Okay, awesome. If everyone has had a chance to do the watering station, I'll just guide you guys over to the next and final zone, which is our campfire. Just meet us back on the path here and I'll take you all over. Awesome. Well, everyone, welcome to our bonfire, the final station in the Safe Steps environment. Up until now, each intervention we've shown you has been structured, guided, and somewhat intentional. This is the part of the journey where we turn the time over to you and all our participants. So this space is for decompression. You can sit, learn, and do nothing for a sec here, or just let whatever came up at the earlier spaces start to settle in. We've got our lovely campfire sound here, and the campfire sound itself draws on something called pink noise, and basically it's like white noise, but it has more power at the lower frequencies, which has been shown in certain studies to improve sleep quality and enhance deep relaxation by stabilizing your brainwave activity. So it kind of creates a nice environment to think about what you've just done and how you're feeling in the moment. The campfire itself, the visual here and the philosophy behind it, relates to sort of evolutionary science and how we perceive safe environments. For thousands of years, the campfire was the primary source of protection from predators and the elements. Hearing these sounds and seeing these sights in VR can trigger a sort of ancestral safety signal in the amygdala, making it easier to transition from a state of high alert anxiety to one of mindful observation. It's also pretty spatially immersive, as I'm sure you guys can notice. The spatial audio we've included allows you to perceive exactly where the sound is coming from. We've placed the sound source there in the fire. And as you turn your head around, the sound of the fire shifts, which tricks the brain into a deeper state of immersion. This high level of felt presence makes it harder for the mind to time travel into autobiographical memories or future rumination. It also capitalizes on the anchor effect. So just as the breath serves as an anchor in traditional meditation, the sound of the fire provides a constant neutral stimulus. So when the mind begins to wander toward rumination, you can gently redirect your attention back to the specific pops and hisses of the virtual embers. Mindfulness and box breathing exercises are great because they have the ability to activate your parasympathetic nervous system and pull you out of a spiral. But for lasting change, it's really important to just take a beat once you're feeling a bit better in order to analyze any insights that may have arisen as a result of these processes. For many people, it's the moments after these sorts of meaningful interventions when things start to click and you can think about what you need to do moving forward. And in this actual setting, if a patient felt like they needed interpersonal support or therapeutic assistance, this is where it would happen. So a conversation, a check-in, or a debrief with a trained safe steps crisis worker can take place here as well. And I will pass it off to Laura to finish up at our affirmation boards.
All right. So if you guys will just follow me back out to the path, we'll head over to our affirmation board section. All right. So as you explore this space, the goal isn't to do everything perfectly, but rather to notice what actually helps you slow down, what pulls your attention out of your head, and what makes you feel more grounded. Because those are tools that matter in a real moment of distress. Safe Steps is built around this idea, because before someone can take a big step forward, they usually just need one safe one. The power of presence. So because the brain perceives the VR environment as real, the affirmations you read they carry more psychological weight. This reduces the tendency for the mind to time travel into past failures or future anxieties. So in VR, a positive affirmation board can be paired with calming campfire sounds or a gentle nature walk. And this co-activation of positive visual and auditory stimuli helps regulate the nervous system more quickly than reading a sticky note on a mirror. By placing specific affirmation boards in different parts of virtual forests or gardens, you can use your brain's spatial memory to anchor those thoughts. When you return to that virtual spot, your brain automatically retrieves the associated positive belief. Anxiety often creates a shield against positive thoughts. The deep relaxation induced by VR nature lowers the defense, allowing affirmations like, "I am capable of handling this," to feel more authentic and less wishful thinking. So feel free to walk around and interact with these boards. If you walk up close to them, you'll be able to draw something. So thank you so much for participating. Before we reconvene back at the starting place, feel free to interact with them, leave a positive affirmation for yourself or for someone else. You can write a mindfulness-based intention or any insights that might have come to mind during this presentation. And we'll see you back at the starting area in about 5 minutes for a bit of a discussion.
And if you just walk up to these boards, you have to get kind of close. But you should see a icon that says draw, and you can just click on that if you guys want to interact with the boards at all. Awesome message, Tony. We agree.
What? I didn't write that. I don't know who wrote that.
The same. So we just wanted to do a bit of a question period. So we wanted to ask which station stood out the most to you. So feel free to speak about that.
I really like the ones that had like audio input. I find that really nice, and like for me, that's something that like calms me down. So it was nice actually.
So glad to hear that.
Yeah, the sounds like the sounds of the campfire would help calm me down more than the visual as well too. A lot of it is sound for me. You know, it has to sound calming and relaxing to help me actually calm and relax.
Totally.
If I may. Oh, sorry.
Please, yeah.
I love the box breathing area. That is so brilliant. The fact that it works so well, like the timing is amazing, and putting it with the sound and the experience all together is so nice. I used to get nightly panic attacks when I was a kid, and I couldn't get to sleep. And honestly, if I had that instead of my little CD that had grounding techniques on it, honestly, I think it would have been so much better. So great job, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. Honestly, I wanna build one of those in my backyard. Just a path I could actually use.
Yeah.
Well, I can jump in a little bit too. One of the other things I liked about it isn't so much even one of the specific stations, but the fact that the whole thing, you took the idea of a park and you expanded it to an even greener green space, if you know what I mean. And so you've created this idea where whichever direction we look, we see that greenery, that nature, right? And so as we slowly move through this space, it's not just the individual stations, but it's the fact that you're now been exposed to it for say 30, 40 minutes. And that in and of itself, that constant green space for 30 or 40 minutes, it will have its own effect just in the more general sense. So I really like that part about it.
Yeah, even on my computer, I can feel it too. Like I don't have a VR headset and I still feel great after being in here a while.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool on the computer. And yeah, it's amazing on the VR headset too.
Well, I think you guys... Oh, sorry. Let me just follow up on that one point. Like, I think you guys know I build a lot of VR worlds in Unity. And actually, when I dive in on my big computer screen in front of my face and I start world building, for me, that's actually like nature therapy. It's a version of it where I'm world building, but I'm moving trees and creating nature scenes. And so it creates that, it's both, I'm achieving a task and achieving nature therapy at the same time.
Yeah, it's like working with your own little Zen garden.
It's really fun. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and stands with tree. I was going to say, Stands with Tree is the one who's filming, says he's big on the campfire as well too, that area.
Awesome.
I have a question.
Thanks, guys. The next question we have is, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was wondering whether this is designed to be for a single person to walk through, or should it be always with a moderator, someone to guide?
So it is built for one, and like if it's as if like a hotline. So there would be a trained crisis worker in the space, and you could come in and meet with them instead of just calling a hotline. So you would come in and they could help guide you. And if you want to be by yourself and go through some of the spaces, but they're going to be here to talk with you and help you decompress and be in a more mindful state.
Excellent.
What makes you safe. It's also about what makes you safe. If you're the type of person that you don't want to meet up one-on-one with someone, there can always be a group thing where all of the individuals in that group agree to be with people. It's just a matter of like communicating what works for you.
You're thinking of everything.
Trying to. But yeah, that brings us to our next question. Is there anything that you guys could think of that would kind of add to this experience or make it more beneficial? If you were going into a sort of crisis hotline like this, what would you like to see?
I think one thing, and I don't know if I missed it or not, but with the watering station, I didn't see instructions on how to pick up the watering can. So if it's like someone that isn't like used to this space, that could be challenging. So maybe just some kind of instruction there, unless there was something and I just totally missed it, which is very possible.
There definitely wasn't, but that is such a great suggestion.
Yeah, we saw some of the people managed to pick it up, but yeah, we did not have a sign to instruct you on how to do that. So yeah, good insight.
I have a suggestion with that. How about having a cairn or somewhere that people can pick up or find a stone or some kind of memory thing that they can pick up and put in that pile, and it will stay there, so that even if they come back, they'll see that they've contributed to this, whatever this is going to be. But it also gives them the instruction that they can go and do the watering can a little bit easier.
That's an amazing idea.
That's such a fun idea.
The one thing that's fun about these types of environments, as you guys know, I build some of these therapy spaces, and one of the things that's great about them is you can build a space like this that can be generally used for like call-ins, but then it can have different modules. Like, as you guys know, you can bring up snapshots, right? So VR environments are great because you can bring up different modules. All of a sudden you're having a conversation with someone. They say, you know, this kind of thing would be great right now. And boom, you bring up another snapshot and you've got that module available. And so the nice thing about these environments is they actually create this sort of one-on-one customizability that you really can't do in any other environment than a digital one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so true. The more tailored to everyone's needs we could have that, the better. And that'd be a great way to do that.
So does anyone have any other questions for us that we could answer?
Not a question, but just a comment. I just think this is a brilliant idea. As someone that actually volunteers at the distress center, I do like online chats, and you know, it can be really hard to like connect with chatters. And I just think, you know, being able to literally put like a face to somebody and like have like this kind of like, you know, voice to that face, and then having these tools in your pocket on top of like the way that you're trained, I think is quite brilliant.
Thanks so much for saying that. Yeah, that was definitely our aim, to feel less alone in that moment and be able to kind of transport you into a different space. So it's really awesome to hear with your insight and with what you do with your job and how this could possibly be applicable one day.
And even you mentioning about how people trying to connect with the people they're chatting online with, there's also been research, we were reading about this, and there's also been, well, it's not, some people have already implemented in their training now where they try to train crisis worker through all these platforms online and see how it goes. So I feel like in the future, that will be definitely something that's there.
Yeah, I actually am thinking about bringing it up to my mentor who does the like, who teaches the volunteers about it, and let her know if you guys are cool with that.
That'd be amazing. Just let her know.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Anything.
And it's conceivable that there'll be a video of this event that you would be able to link, and they could watch the video.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that. That's perfect.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I don't know who I need to get in touch with that, but that would be great.
Well, the plan would be, this is, as you know, this is the first time we've recorded these events, but I assume that they'll be posted up through Educators in VR, and I'll get the links from Laurel. And then ultimately I'll post them to D2L and send everything out. I'll post up pictures of these events and all that kind of stuff, so that you guys have access to all that.
Well, I'd like to know, as we're wrapping this up, lessons learned. What y'all learned from doing this?
Us as the creators or the participants?
As the creators. Let's talk about the creators first. If the participants want to join in, that's fine too.
I learned that communication is a huge part of doing projects with people. So even if you have a great idea, if you can't execute, that's just nothing. And in order to execute, you have to communicate with the people involved.
Yeah. I always say that communicate needs to be inside the spelling of the word teamwork. It isn't, but it needs to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. What else?
I think there is something just cathartic about working together with a group to build an environment where the purpose of the environment was to help heal other people or make other people feel good. It, I think, kept us motivated to do a good job, and it's just nice having a good team and a good goal, and then seeing it all come together like this has been a pretty fun experience.
So I shared a story at the start about what this was kind of inspired from, but I think for me it was quite healing to work on it and be able to build this and have a great team by my side who were encouraging and brought better ideas and more ideas, and just the teamwork and the support that was given.
It's something that we don't.
Can I jump Sorry, Lorella, I actually want to jump in there. No, this is really important. I actually really want to jump in here because I want to thank you for bringing your story at the beginning. I know, Lorella, you weren't here for it, but it was a very personal story. And I want to thank you for bringing that and being brave enough to bring that to us. And even more importantly than that, brave enough to bring it to your group as the idea for an event. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah, and I want to add, one of the things that we don't tell you this in advance. You just learn this. Because VR is as close to reality as it can sort of, kind of, but not quite get in many respects, it does churn things up. And so I love to learn that this triggered for you all, and you are all there for each other, and you use this for good. Because it happens quite often where people will respond emotionally, where they wouldn't, like in a video game or YouTube or something like that, they wouldn't have that visceral feeling. But in VR, you do, it feels real. When somebody, I can drive through an avatar. And when I tell somebody, they laugh, we drive through each other, it's all fine. But if I come up and I was to smack Bluebell, she would feel it. Even though my hand was passing through the avatar. I'm not going to hit you, honey. I'm not going to do it. Don't worry. But that's how this feels. So I'm so thrilled that you had that experience. That is beautiful. Iron Coach, what about you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I stepped right over you. Go ahead. So
I just wanted to thank Tony for what he said. That means a lot. And thank you, everyone, for being here.
Yay.
Yeah, I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank our team now, because all the presentation we just did was like the tip of the iceberg. There was a lot of things that went into this, and we all are busy with our other classes, and we were able to come together. So thank you. I think it's really nice to give people their flowers, and I'm doing that to my team right now. Thanks, guys.
Yay.
Thanks, and thank you, Deborah.
And just as the course instructor, I gotta say, this is what we hope experiential learning is supposed to be, right? Like, let's be honest, most university group projects are challenging and they're hard, but they're often hard in ways that they're different than this, right? This is an activity that seemed to bring you guys together, and we see that often in this course. This is a different type of group project than you do. Like, this is not like writing a term paper together, right? Like, it's a creative and engaging project. And the whole idea of this is what we call that experiential learning, that idea that we can learn by doing. Right? So it's not just always writing a paper and researching something in the library. Sometimes it's doing. And this gives us that unique opportunity to do. And again, I mean, you need a platform like this. So Engage allows us to give this opportunity to you. So it's really fun. I'm just excited about, yeah, I'm a little overwhelmed actually about how engaged all you guys are and how you're doing.
Yeah,
all right, I'm going to mute now.
Tony and I slobber over each other every single semester because we're so proud of you. We're just like little crying parents or grandparents. Are going, oh, really cool.
That was awesome, guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
So let's give them all a big round of applause.
Thank you, guys, so much.
All right, and to end the video, I want to remind everyone that this is an Educators in VR event where we are teamed up with Mount Royal University psychology students who are doing, they're experimenting with VR to do presentations on XR mental health therapies. And this team has been offering an example of safe steps. So thanks, everyone, and we'll get this up on YouTube soon. Thanks again. Great job, everybody.